During World War II, the German Wehrmacht deployed a wide range of military vehicles across Europe and beyond, from heavily armored battle tanks like the Panther and Tiger to agile reconnaissance cars and versatile Germany relied on mechanized warfare to support its battlefield strategy. This video takes a detailed look at the most important vehicles fielded by the Wehrmacht, explaining their roles, strengths, and impact during the war. Battle tanks, the Panzers. We begin with Germany's battle tanks, known collectively as the Panzers. The Panzer was originally created as a training platform, but due to urgent wartime needs, it was rushed into combat during the invasions of Poland and France. Equipped with only 2 machine guns and protected by extremely thin armor, the Panzer I depended entirely on speed, coordination, and numerical advantage rather than firepower. The Panzer II followed as a temporary solution that unexpectedly became the backbone of early German armored forces. Armed with a 20mm autocannon, it proved effective against infantry and lightly armored targets. Although it became obsolete later in the war, its chassis was repurposed for multiple self-propelled gun designs. The Panzer 35T was acquired after Germany absorbed Czechoslovakia, built by Kokoda. This tank was praised for its high-quality engineering and advanced pneumatic transmission. It performed reliably in early campaigns and could be recognized by the distinctive spacing behind its boogie wheels. The Panzer 38T was considered one of the finest light tanks of the early war period. This Czech-designed vehicle combined reliability with respectable firepower thanks to its 37mm gun. Its durable chassis later served as the foundation for the well-known Hetzer tank destroyer. The Panzer III was developed as Germany's primary tank-versus-tank fighter. Featuring a 3-man turret, it offered superior battlefield awareness and command efficiency. Although its main gun eventually struggled against newer Soviet armor, its crew layout became the standard for future medium tanks. The Panzer IV became the true workhorse of the Wehrmacht. It was the only German tank produced continuously from the beginning to the end of the war. Through repeated upgrades to armor and armament, the Panzer IV served on every major front, from Western Europe to the Eastern Front in Russia. The Panther, officially designated Panzer V, was created in response to the Soviet T-34. It combined sloped armor, excellent mobility, and a high velocity. 75mm gun. Despite early mechanical problems, the Panther is widely regarded as one of the most effective medium tanks of World War II. The Panzer I. Tiger I became a symbol of German heavy armor. Its thick, vertical armor and devastating 88mm gun struck fear into Allied tank crews. Although slow and difficult to maintain, the Tiger I dominated long-range engagements. The Panzer, the 6 Tiger II, also known as the King Tiger, was an enormous 70-ton machine. It combined extremely thick armor with the sloped design philosophy of the Panther. While nearly invulnerable from the front, its immense weight caused mechanical failures and severely limited mobility. Tank destroyers and assault guns next. We turn to Germany's tank destroyers and assault guns. The Stoogie 3 was created by mounting a fixed gun on the chassis of the Panzer III. This low-profile design reduced costs and silhouette, making it ideal for ambush tactics. It became the most widely produced armored fighting vehicle used by Germany during the war. T. Jagdpanzer 38T, better known as the Hetzer, was small, angular, and extremely difficult to detect. Built on the reliable Czech 38T chassis, it offered sloped armor and a remotely operated machine gun. For advancing Allied troops, the Hetzer often appeared as a deadly and unexpected threat. The Jagdpanzer IV was another dedicated tank hunter, nicknamed Guderian's Duck because of its nose-heavy balance. It carried a powerful, long-barreled gun, capable of destroying enemy armor at significant distances. Its low silhouette made it especially effective in defensive operations. Tank destroyers. Continued. The Jagdpanzer IV was armed with a long-barreled 75mm gun. It functioned as a deadly defensive weapon, capable of destroying enemy tanks while staying concealed behind terrain or camouflage. The Marder II emerged as German armored forces encountered increasingly resilient Soviet tanks. This vehicle was created by mounting a powerful anti-tank gun onto the outdated Panzer II chassis, open-topped and lightly protected. It was a temporary yet necessary solution that delivered much-needed firepower during desperate stages of the war. The Marder III continued this concept using the reliable Czech-built 38T chassis. It carried either captured Soviet anti-tank guns or the German Pak-40, primarily serving on the Eastern Front. Although the crew remained exposed to weather and enemy fire, the gun itself could destroy most Allied tanks with ease. The Nashorn, named after the rhinoceros, was essentially a long-range tank killer. It mounted the devastating 88mm gun on a lightly armored chassis. With almost no protection, it relied entirely on long-distance engagements, destroying enemy armor before being detected. The Jago Panthor is often considered the finest tank destroyer of the Second World War. It combined the highly capable Panther chassis with the lethal 88mm gun. This vehicle achieved an exceptional balance of speed, protection, and firepower, making it one of Germany's most effective armored designs. The Ferdinand, later known as the Elephant, was constructed using rejected Porsche Tiger hulls. It was slow, extremely heavy, and protected by thick frontal armor, effectively serving as a moving bunker. Its unusual petroelectric drive system was innovative, but early versions lacked a machine gun, leaving it vulnerable to close infantry attacks. The Jag Tiger was the heaviest armored fighting vehicle to see combat service. Armed with a massive 128mm gun, it was capable of destroying any tank on the battlefield. However, its extreme weight created severe logistical challenges, and many units broke down before ever reaching combat. Self-propelled artillery and anti-aircraft vehicles. Next are Germany's self-propelled artillery and anti-aircraft platforms. The Sturmpanzer I Bison represented an early experiment in mobile artillery. It mounted a heavy 15cm infantry gun on the tiny Panzer I chassis, severely overloaded and dangerously top-heavy. It still provided valuable mobile fire support during the early stages of the war. The Wespe, meaning wasp, successfully transformed the obsolete Panzer II into a light artillery vehicle. Fast and mobile, it could quickly fire and reposition, allowing panzer divisions to receive immediate artillery support while on the move. The Hummel, named the Bumblebee, carried a powerful 15cm howitzer on a hybrid Panzer III and Panzer IV chassis. It delivered devastating indirect fire against enemy positions, though limited ammunition storage required constant resupply. The Grill, meaning cricket, mounted a heavy infantry gun directly onto the Czech 38T chassis. It gave infantry formations the ability to destroy fortified positions using direct fire support. Music, the Sturmpanzer for Brumber, sometimes nicknamed the Grizzly Bear, was designed specifically for urban warfare. Its short-barreled, large-caliber gun was optimized for demolishing buildings and crushing fortified defenses in city fighting. The Sturmtiger was a rare and terrifying machine built on the Tiger I chassis. It fired an enormous 380mm rocket-propelled projectile, originally designed as a naval depth charge, capable of leveling entire city blocks with a single shot. Self-propelled anti-aircraft continued. It was engineered to level entire city blocks with a single devastating blast, making it especially effective during brutal urban fighting and uprisings. Die Flakpanzer. Die Flakpanzer, meaning whirlwind, featured a distinctive open-topped turret mounting for 20mm anti-aircraft cannons. This configuration created a dense storm of fire, proving deadly against low-flying aircraft, as well as lightly protected ground targets. The Flakpanzer Quarto Ostwind or East Wind was developed to improve upon earlier anti-aircraft designs. It featured a hexagonal turret housing a single but far more powerful 37mm flak gun. This allowed it to engage enemy aircraft at greater distances, offering improved reach and accuracy over quad-barreled systems. The Flakpanzer 38T served as an interim self-propelled anti-aircraft solution. It mounted a single 20mm gun on the rear of a Czech-built 38T chassis. With minimal armor protection, the crew remained dangerously exposed to enemy strafing attacks. Armored half-tracks and prime movers next are Germany's armored half-tracks and prime movers, the backbone of mechanized logistics, the SDKFZ. 251 Hanomag was the iconic battlefield transport of the Panzergrenadiers. Often called the battle taxi, it featured sloped armor and excellent off-road mobility. It allowed infantry to advance alongside tanks and dismount directly into combat zones. Die SEV Anka FSET 250 was a smaller and lighter cousin of the Hanomag. This shortened half-track was primarily used for reconnaissance, command, and liaison roles. Its compact size made it agile and well-suited for scouting missions. The SDKFZ 7 medium prime mover was an 8-ton half-track essential to German artillery units. It was responsible for towing the famous 88mm flak gun and heavy howitzer. With theater-style seating for the gun crew, it was a common sight across every major front. The SDKFZ 9 FOMO was the heavy lifter of the German army. This massive half-track was designed to recover damaged or immobilized tanks. Often, 2 or even 3 FEMOs were linked together to haul a bogged-down Tiger tank out of thick mud. The SDKFZ 10 Light prime mover was widely used to tow smaller anti-tank guns, such as the Pak-36 and Pak-38. Light, nimble, and produced in large numbers. It helped mechanize Germany's lighter artillery units. The SDKFZ 11 served as the standard light artillery tractor. It was used to tow field howitzers and Nebelwerfer rocket launchers. This vehicle filled the gap between light and medium prime movers. The Kettenkrad was a unique hybrid, combining elements of a motorcycle and a tracked vehicle. Originally designed for airborne forces, it gained fame on the Eastern Front. It could tow light guns and traverse terrain that left conventional trucks completely immobilized. The Opel Multier was developed in response to the deep mud of the Russian front. Engineers modified standard Opel Blitz trucks by replacing the rear wheels with tank tracks. The result was a rugged supply vehicle that kept logistics moving when wheeled transport failed. Armored reconnaissance vehicles. Continuing with Germany's armored reconnaissance vehicles, the SDKFZ 222 was a light four-wheeled scout car featuring an angled armored hull and a turret armed with a 20mm cannon. Fast and maneuverable on roads, it served as the eyes and ears of reconnaissance units during the early war years. The SDKFZ 231 ATRAD was a heavy 8-wheeled armored car with a complex suspension system. This design allowed it to cross rough terrain while maintaining speed. It featured 2 driver positions, one facing forward and one rearward, enabling rapid withdrawal without turning around. The SDKFZ 234 halves. Puma is often regarded as the finest armored car of the war. It combined high speed, an enclosed turret, and the powerful 50mm tank gun. The Puma could easily outmatch most Allied reconnaissance vehicles and even threaten light tanks. Armored command and radio vehicles. The SD was a specialized radio vehicle built on an 8-wheeled armored car chassis. It featured a fixed superstructure topped with a large frame antenna. This vehicle served as a mobile communications center, coordinating large-scale panzer movements across rapidly shifting battlefields. Light utility, staff cars, and motorcycles. Now we move on to light utility vehicles, staff cars, and military motorcycles. The Volkswagen Squemugen, also known as the Type 166, was developed from the original Volkswagen design. It featured a sealed, bathtub-style hull and a fold-down rear propeller. As the most mass-produced amphibious car in history, it could cross rivers, swamps, and muddy terrain with ease. The Hork 108 was a heavy off-road personnel vehicle used to transport troops and tow light artillery pieces. Powered by a robust V8 engine, it served as a standard heavy staff and transport car during the early years of the war. The Steyr 150OA was a rugged, air-cooled heavy staff car manufactured in Austria. It was favored by officers and commanders for its reliability in extreme climates. This vehicle performed especially well in the deserts of North Africa and the freezing conditions of Russia. The Mercedes-Benz G4 was an enormous six-wheeled luxury touring vehicle, frequently seen in propaganda footage, transporting high-ranking Nazi officials. It functioned more as a prestige symbol for parades than as a true combat vehicle. The BMW R75 was a heavy military motorcycle specifically engineered for wartime use. It featured a driven sidecar wheel to improve off-road traction. This durable machine served as a workhorse for dispatch riders, patrol units, and reconnaissance forces. Logistics trucks and transport vehicles. Next are the logistics trucks and transporters that kept the German war machine moving. The Opel Blitz 3.6 was a legendary primary cargo truck of the Wehrmacht, easily recognized by its lightning bolt emblem. It was simple, reliable, and versatile. From ammunition and fuel to troops and supplies, the Opel Blitz carried it all. The Krupp-Rotz KFZ 69 earned the nickname Boxer due to its flat four-cylinder engine. This six-wheeled truck featured a distinctive sloping hood design. It was widely used to tow light anti-tank guns and transport motorized infantry units. The Ruppen Schlepperost, or RSO, was designed specifically for the brutal conditions of the Eastern Front. This fully tracked, slow-moving tractor sacrificed speed for unmatched traction. It excelled at hauling artillery through deep mud and snow where wheeled vehicles failed. The Henschel 33 was a heavy six-wheeled truck that entered service before the outbreak of the war. Strong and dependable, it hauled heavy cargo, engineering equipment, and supplies throughout the conflict. The Einheitsdiesel was a standardized military truck featuring six-wheel drive and independent suspension. Although mechanically complex, it offered excellent off-road capability for a wheeled transport vehicle. Specialized in siege vehicles. Finally, we examine Germany's specialized in siege warfare vehicles. The Panzerwerfer 42 mounted a 10-barrel Nebelwerfer rocket launcher on an armored half-track chassis, famous for the terrifying shrieking sound of its rockets. It delivered mobile saturation bombardment against enemy positions. The Karlgert was a colossal self-propelled siege mortar, capable of firing shells weighing over 2 tons. Only a handful were built to destroy heavily fortified targets, such as the defenses of civilians. Operating it required massive crews, cranes, and extensive logistical support. The Goliath tracked mine, officially designated SD KFZ and 302 and 303, was a small, remotely controlled demolition vehicle, nicknamed the Beetle. It carried a high explosive charge intended to be driven beneath tanks or into bunkers. Despite its innovative design, it was often rendered useless when enemy troops severed its control cable.